Hello and welcome back to another episode of Unlicensed Therapy with me, your host, Ari Mannis. Today we have an amazing guest. I'm sure most of you listening already know who he is because you're here for him and not for me. But some of you are here for me. And if you are here for me, my guest is incredible. I was a fan of his YouTube channel from back in the day. I'm currently a fan of his podcast and him on G4 TV. You're going to love him. But before we get into the episode, I want to read this week's Apple Podcast reviews. I'm starting to read them as often as I can remember in order to motivate you guys to leave them, because leaving them helps the algorithm and helps people discover this podcast, or so I have been told. So please leave a review, 5 stars if you haven't already. I'm only reading the positive ones. This review was from May 25th, 3 days ago. I'm recording this on the 28th because I am going to Detroit tomorrow with my family. I'm going to go visit Brian, my favorite reptile breeder and friend, and it's going to be a fun trip, but let's get to the reviews. This one was left May 25th, and it was by Grand Tempt. The subject is, I love the Arnie Mantis podcast. Flub my name. Funny. 5 stars. I love the Arnie Mantis podcast. I saw Arnie live with Tio Vafan in Portland, Oregon, and became a fan and have never looked back. I thoroughly enjoy this podcast. I hope everyone reading this review gives it a chance. And to the people reading reviews, before you actually listen to the podcast, I hope your grandmother kills your other grandmother, Hari Krishna. All right, Grand Tempt, thank you for the review. You might be mentally ill. I think you might be mentally ill, and I think a lot of the people who like me are, and I think I am. So welcome aboard, my mentally ill friends. This next review was left the day after the previous one, May 26th, and it is by It's Chris Fry. Subject, Ari is the man! 5 stars. I trust this man so much that I gave him my parents' Netflix login. Thank you, Chris Fry. Thank you for the Netflix login. I have a little Google Doc that I keep with all the logins that people sent me because I posted on my Instagram story that I'm looking for Netflix login. I got a Disney Plus login now, HBO, Netflix, Hulu. I ain't paying for that shit, dude. Not when you guys are sending them to me. Thank you. Thank you, Chris, for the Netflix. I've been enjoying it from time to time. This last review also left May 26th from Jordan_Michael, 5 stars, subject quality podcast. I went to my friend's wedding in Kansas City and decided to see Theo Von at the Improv. Ari opened for him and killed. As someone who has only seen stand-up in progressive cities, it was fascinating to see his crowd work with the Kansas City crowd. Been listening to his podcast since. Funny dude, great host, unique guests, and professional therapeutic advice. Thank you, Jordan Michael. I appreciate that. Thank you to the people who have been leaving those reviews. I hope you keep them up and check it out if you haven't yet on YouTube as well. When you're at home, you got it going on YouTube and Spotify. We're everywhere, baby, and I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoy the episode.
I single-handedly broke up my marriage. You're an awful person.
You're 24 years old. Why would I listen to you? Why would you be giving therapy and advice to people who clearly need it? It doesn't make any sense, Ari. This is a horrible idea.
You're listening to
Unlicensed
Therapy with Ari Mannis.
So the blue compass is you need to adjust each thing, right? So I like these that it's like there's no adjusting. It's just you're ready to go.
Because I like to move around a little bit.
Or at least have the option.
I'm a very physical podcaster, you know.
Everyone is.
Sometimes I'm here, and sometimes I'm here.
Why do you think it is that people like to watch just talking heads? And I get it because I prefer it too. If I'm at home, I rather pull up a podcast on YouTube than I do on Spotify or
Such
Apple.
a good question. I've been, one of the first things I ever did in comedy was like intern on a podcast. This was like in 2006 or 2007. I've been so into podcasts for years, and
Why'd you never do one until?
Great question. I think YouTube definitely had a lot where I had to, there was a lot of energy put into like the video side, but I consume more podcasts than I do any other, type of medium.
It's kind of like YouTube where you could look up anything.
Yeah.
And there's a podcast for it.
Totally. I do that a lot. Like, I'll, if I, like, I'm into like UFO stuff, and then I'll be like, oh, I want to know more about this specific encounter, and then I'll just search in the podcast app for that and then find every podcast that covers it. And then instead of reading.
So you're a legit UFO nerd. Because I've seen your ghost video, a California ghost.
Oh, have you? Yeah, that was that was probably the most fun thing I ever did. I don't know if
it was obviously funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, he's got to probably be into this shit on some level to make this.
Yeah, I listen to the nerds, and then I would probably consider myself like a casual enthusiast, because I won't be able to rattle off the specific dates and times of many things, but I can kind of like take all the info
and make it funny.
Well, yeah, either that or just like I just, my therapist seems to think that there's a healthy amount of this that you can do, but too much of it is a little bit too much of an escapism thing.
I've never been to a therapist, which is pretty unhealthy.
Dude, then that's the new therapy, is not doing therapy.
Is it?
Everyone does
Everyone does therapy.
Yeah, it's Mental Health Awareness Month even, I just learned. So.
I just don't have it in me to like self-reflect. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Sure.
That's scary.
Oh, I spent a lot of time like circling the drain, like wondering what's down there.
Yeah.
When I got in, it's not so bad.
Not that bad.
The right guy helps.
That's the other thing. You got to find the right therapist.
It took a while, and I even did. I tried these like apps, like BetterHelp, and I don't know if they're a sponsor or not.
They won't sponsor me because I make fun of, not really make fun, but I do.
Great, because I had a terrible experience on the app. I went on the app and I was like, because I was doing like couples therapy in a relationship that didn't work out, and I was spending like $350 a session
for an hour.
For an hour, because this guy was like,
is that the normal therapy cost?
That's abnormally high.
Okay.
Because he was recommended to me by Jamie, who I do the podcast with, and she's a celebrity, and she runs in that circle. All her friends are all celebrities.
This was a high-end therapist.
Yeah.
Yes. But still on BetterHelp or off BetterHelp?
This was off BetterHelp. But we did couples therapy, and I really liked the guy, but I was like, I can't spend $350 fucking dollars per session. So I was like, let me go on BetterHelp. I heard it advertised. And
I'll
I was like,
figure this out. I'll get us a couples therapist.
Then they give you a list of questions. That's like what are you looking? What are you sad about? And then they match you with somebody. And the first person they matched me with was like this 28-year-old, like, he looked like a bunch of the kids I just drove by, on Sunset, and like, probably has one of those slings across his chest. And not to discount his ability, but I feel like I really need to know that my guy has seen some stuff or has some experience.
It would be hard to go to therapy with someone younger than me.
Very hard.
It would be like, what do you know?
Yeah.
Have you even ever been in a fight with a girl? Have you even had your heart broken?
Yeah. He's like, dude, I just graduated and like I play Call of Duty all day. Like, well, how bad could it be? And so I sent him, to BetterHelp's credit, I sent them a message saying, hey, do you have anyone older that has like maybe 5 years, 10 years experience maybe? And they're like, sure, no problem. They set me up with this guy who was like 60 something, fine. But he was like, he had no insight into anything. He was just like, if you were to sit down on a park bench and an old guy was feeding the pigeons right next to you, like the type of conversation you would have with that guy, totally nice and pleasant, just didn't give me anything.
He was just like,
He's like,
yeah,
wow,
I see that.
That must be crazy. Yeah. Oh, you make videos, huh? well, I always wondered how people do. It's like all right, dude. Like, am I?
You think he'd get it? He's on an app.
Yeah, you're like, how'd you get here? So long story longer, I went back to the $350 an hour guy.
Was he hurt at all that you left him for a bit?
Not
for
at all.
BetterHelp? Did you tell him? You're like, I tried BetterHelp.
I told them all, dude. That's the beauty of this guy is like, I realized that this guy, because I really did like him. I just didn't like how much I was paying. I was like, can you just like cut me a little bit of a break?
You're like, I'm not a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly.
I make videos
give
on
me,
the internet.
Yeah. Give me just so he gave me. He's like, if you Venmo me, we can do $320, and then we'll cut down to twice a month as opposed to every week after I feel like you're ready.
I'll give you $30 off. Just Venmo me. That's such a casual thing for a therapist to say.
So he's great. I still see him twice a month, and he's really helped a lot, which is such a. He should for that kind of amount of money.
Yeah, for $600 a month.
I do not recommend that you go and spend that kind of money. There's a guy out there for you that's.
Do you still have the thought sometimes? You're like, yeah, he's helping me, but is he $600 helping me?
All the time. But
is he car lease helping me?
Right, exactly. Yeah. I could be driving another. I mean, he has been, and we have just such a rapport, and he knows my ex. Too. And me and my ex are always off and on. So like he has great insight into the things I do.
Wait, so your ex also goes to therapy with him?
No, but when we were in couples therapy, we went together to him.
Right. Oh, so he knows about her.
So he knows about her. He knows her
past
tendencies and he's here's the thing. I feel like I get more out of an hour with him than I would be able to get with like 3 or 4 with other people. So that's how I rationalize it, because he cuts through the bullshit and he'll just tell me things. He's like, dude, look, you pay me a lot of money and I could sit here and we can talk about this one thing for a while, but like, it's clear that this isn't working for you. You need to drop this,
yeah.
And I'll be like, wow. Yeah. And then we'll spend the rest of the time talking about like his life or his vaccine. He's like, he spends a lot of time telling me about his investments, which I think is really funny. And he
sounds like a good dude.
Sounds like a good guy, good Jewish.
Do you ever see yourself, is this taboo to say to a therapist, like if you like him, hey, you want to hang out sometime outside of therapy?
I feel like
you can't do it.
I don't think I will, but I feel like he would be like, yeah, let's go golf or something, and then he would charge me. And then he would charge me for the 9
I feel like
or
he would
18.
do it because he wants to keep that $600 a month. He's like, yeah, okay, I got to go golfing with him every 3 months.
Yeah, he's got when we went to twice a month as opposed to every week, I felt like he was waiting for that gap to open up so he could charge somebody else like $400 an hour. He's so in demand.
As he gets busy.
Yeah,
good for him.
And he's through the pandemic. The dude's been.
Do you think that I could go on BetterHelp, Photoshop a certificate saying that I graduated with a psychiatry degree?
Yeah, and get put on the roster.
Psychiatry degree?
So
because it's like Uber.
Sounds good. Yeah.
It's just all you do is probably upload a document,
right? And
you're on the app.
Yeah. Like how?
Do you think I would get sued? I'd probably get sued for it. But that'd be a fun experiment.
I feel like I feel like you could probably do a lot of good before they found out. Like talking
I'm just trying to help people.
Think of how much experience you have talking to people. That's got to be valuable in some sense.
I could give more insight than any 28-year-old.
Absolutely. And you got to change the name to licensed therapy. And then you can start,
I'm going to look into the legality of it. And if it's illegal, I'll still probably do it.
I think you try it.
Yeah. What's the worst that could happen? I get sued for my net worth of nothing? Big deal.
That's right.
Take it all.
Yeah. I maybe take a look one day if you ever do find someone that you think
they were going to kill themselves anyway. That wasn't because of me.
No,
that had nothing to do with me.
Those guys, I helped them from probably keeping from doing it for a few weeks.
I'm pro suicide. If you want to take your life and you're in a lot of pain, go to Canada. Go see those. That's legal there, right? In Canada, you can go to a doctor and they could put you down as getting.
Yeah, that reminds me of all the hubbub that when we were younger in the 90s, there's a lot of Dr. Kevorkian talk. There was like, you remember Dr. Kevorkian? There was
I've heard them. Is he the abortion doctor?
He's the assisted suicide doctor.
That's assisted suicide.
And
yes.
and he had this very sort of ghoulish appearance about him, and there was a lot of people that were like, you don't have the right, you're helping people. And then there was the other people like, he's just helping people go peacefully.
It is a dark path to take as a doctor, though. Of all the type of doctors you could be, you're like, I'll take that lane.
Yeah. Imagine surrounding yourself with death all the time.
Maybe someone in his family he wishes as a kid. He's like, I wish I could have put that person down and taken them out of their misery.
Totally.
So that's why I chose this life.
I'm just gonna do it over and over with other people. Yeah.
It's a niche.
Yeah.
It would be it would be an easy doctor. All you do is give someone a shot. That's it.
Well,
Be a pretty easy job.
What do I know? I feel like if I know about that says a lot about me.
You have a lot of weird topics you could know about.
The paranormal is really that's my shit.
I lived in Roswell, New Mexico for 2 years.
You lived there?
2 years. Freshman and sophomore year of high school, I went there.
No shit.
The New Mexico Military Institute, located in Roswell, New Mexico.
Wow. Because the crash happened just outside Roswell in Corona.
I didn't even know that.
Some people think there were 2 crash sites,
One in Roswell, one in Corona.
Well, one in Corona and then one in just maybe a little bit farther south. But what was that like growing up in Roswell? Because I imagine tourism there is solely based on that. Is there anything else?
I didn't grow up there. I just went to 2 years of high school there. But
okay.
There's definitely their McDonald's and Walmart is UFO themed.
Yeah.
Have you been there or no?
No,
okay.
Never.
Yeah, the whole
city.
But
I was gonna Airbnb a place there.
It's not. I mean, it's a shitty little town. I grew to like it actually, so I go there for nostalgia reasons every now and then.
Yeah.
But definitely not worth going. If someone's listening, like, I kind of want to go to Roswell, it's not really. I think you'll be disappointed. But you could make it part of a bigger trip. You can go to Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico.
Yeah.
And Santa Fe and Albuquerque and all these. And then I'd say worth a stop.
It's like a stop.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I think there was right before the pandemic happened, I was going to go to a Rage Against the Machine concert in Texas. And we were going to do a stop in Roswell. Yeah. And, but it's surrounded there's White Sands. You went to what kind of high school?
Military high school.
Okay. Were you in the military after?
No, it was a Army preparatory high school. A lot of people did. I want to say 50% of people went into the military from that school, or a high percentage. I don't know what percentage, but I did not.
And you just went there for 2 years.
I went there for 2 years, but I did want to join. They brainwashed me. When I left, when I went back to San Diego, where I'm from, I told my parents, I was like, I'm joining the Marines.
Well, yeah, San Diego's where they do the Navy SEAL training, too.
Yeah, the Navy SEALs.
Coronado
I was super gung-ho about it. Then I kissed a girl, smoked weed, and I was like, I don't need that.
I'm not going to let this go.
Yeah.
Did you do the same thing as me, where you spent a lot of time wanting and fantasizing about being a sniper?
I would fantasize about being a jet pilot.
That's the more
killing people from the sky.
Totally.
Yeah, sniping would be cool. I definitely like shooting guns.
They do have the similarity of being at a distance and being able to do damage.
Definitely.
I watched all those sniper documentaries on whatever fucking channel, but they were they'd go to England and do their document how all the sort of schooling that you have to go through and the tests that they make you do, like the one where they have the teachers, they're up in a post and they got binoculars on, and then all the students have to inch their way through tall grass until without being detected. And then the spotter will see, they'll be like, stop, put a flag. They'll get a guy to go out there and put a flag and then move the flag. And then if they spot him, you lose.
Yeah.
But and then they got to do the thing where they got to look at a thing and then sketch it. And all that stuff was so fascinating to me.
It is. And it's super competitive. You would never expect, because I don't know any snipers. And I know tons of people who play baseball or played when they were a kid. I don't know anyone who's I want to be a sniper.
Yeah.
But then you go down these YouTube rabbit holes and they're like, only 5% of people who want to be snipers end up being snipers.
Yeah.
It's
I think that's
really
what talked me out of it.
Yeah, me too.
Because I wanted shortcut to stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can watch anything on anything and you'll be like, I can't do that. That's too hard.
The fantasy for me was this is how I imagined I'd become a sniper. I would be at a gun range with a rifle or even a 50 cal first time. And then I line up a shot that's 1,000 yards away or whatever. And then at first bullet, I go, think, and then in my fantasy, the instructor comes over and he like takes his earmuffs off and he's like, son, have you ever shot a rifle before? And then I go, no, it's first time. And he like he brings me over to like his superior, you know, and then they figure out a way to get me into the Navy SEAL sniper program, and then I go straight top of the class in every category.
I think that's super plausible. You would think if I was a sniper,
Yeah.
if I was a Marine recruiter or Navy recruiter, I'd go around to every shooting range
Yeah.
and I'd be like, hey, you ever get a gem? You ever get
Right.
like a new person that's crazy good?
Yeah.
Give them my card.
Totally. That's a great way. They've got to be out there selling it and finding like they do for baseball, like the baseball recruiters, you know?
Or hanging out. Or if I was a recruiter, I would just hang out at the sniper range.
Yeah.
And
Get some practice in.
Yeah, I'd see someone good and I'd try to poach them. I'd be like a talent scout in Hollywood who goes to like improv shows to find talent. Instead, I'd be at the range.
Yeah.
Be like, you got something here,
Yeah.
kid. You're special.
Put
This
one
country needs
target
you.
out there, you know, that if somebody hits that, they, you know, it even if
It
you're not
triggers
there,
it triggers a hotline.
sends an email. It's like a push notification
yeah.
to your BlackBerry, because you would have a BlackBerry or a sat phone. I did for a bachelor party. I called a gun range because I wanted to. Me and my friends to all go do sniper.
Your bachelor party, or you were putting it on for someone?
I was trying to do it for a buddy. And it didn't end up happening, but I did end up calling this place and like making a reservation. And they were somewhere in Los Angeles. They had this big range, and I was like, we want to shoot big guns. We want to shoot 50 cal guns. My name is Kassem Garaiba.
And they're
My
like,
brother
"Nope,
is
no."
coming. His name's Omar Garaiba. And like, I was like, and then I never ended up coming. And I was like, oh, I bet you I'm on some sort of list. You know, I bet they flagged me.
I think you were born on a list. Today's podcast is brought to you by Happy Dance Premium CBD Skincare from Kristen Bell. You know Kristen Bell, the movie star, the beautiful actress that Rick Glassman somehow got on his podcast? How did he do that? I want her to do my podcast, but at least I get to use her new Happy Dance whipped body butter and her coconut melt and her bath bombs. I have been using these products for the last 2 weeks, and they are incredible. The bath bomb, as you guys know, I take a lot of baths, typically on the road in hotel rooms because my bathtub is disgusting and filled with men's hair and dirt. But when I go on the road, I love packing this with me, and I look forward to taking a Happy Dance bath bomb bath. And I get out and I feel extra relaxed, and then I rub myself down with this coconut melt and this whipped body butter, and I just feel all moisturized and yummy. And I know it's not a food, but it's just a yummy product, and I feel really good after using it. And I'm going to continue using it. I am going to until I run out, and then I'm going to have to buy more. But right now I still have some left, and it's a wonderful product. As a listener of my podcast, you can get 15% off of your first Happy Dance order, but only if you go to doahappydance.com/Ari. That's 15% off of your first order of Happy Dance CBD skincare at doahappydance.com/Ari. Support Happy Dance, which in turn supports the show and also helps you relax and feel good about your body and take a nice fun bath. And, you know, this is a good product. It's Kristen Bell, and it's kind of feminine marketing, but I'm a man and I like it. So I think you could use it if you're a man or a woman or a couple. Maybe use it. That's a good couples activity. Take a bath and drop in some Happy Dance bath bombs, then get out and just rub each other's body with the CBD melt, with that coconut melt or the body butter. I would like to rub it on a woman's body and have her rub it on my body. That would be, oh yeah. So go to doahappydance.com/Ari for 15% off of your first order. You're going to thank me.
I was born on the
As soon
list.
as you crossed into America.
That's right.
Wait, you were
Yeah.
born in Jordan, right?
I was
think-
born in Jordan,
like
yeah,
that.
and then spent 6 months there, and then lived in Saudi Arabia for 4
Wow.
years, and then
When you were 4 years old?
up until I was 4,
So
and
you
then
don't remember it.
I remember very little,
Yeah.
you know, but I do remember bits about it because we lived in a compound. It's just a walled off neighborhood, you know, and that's where like expats live and like people just working abroad live.
Were your parents also from Jordan?
My
Or-
dad's Jordanian, my
Yeah.
mom's Egyptian, and my dad's been in hotels he retired a few years ago, but he
So I
was
was
in
going to ask,
hotels.
why were you in an expat community?
Well, that's just where some expats, like, you know, Americans would go. I mean, it was just a safer place.
Yeah, just
you don't
a
want to
nice part of
fucking live in
Jordan.
like Riyadh, or
Right,
you know,
right.
there's parts of Saudi Arabia that's just not that chill, as we might say.
And Saudi Arabia is the place where if you get caught stealing, they chop off your hand.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I think that's one of the. I think
That's
in
so
more
crazy.
of the stricter parts, because like every country, there's like a progressive side and like an.
Right.
Yeah, I think Riyadh is probably that place.
That'd be insane.
It
To
sucks.
get my hand chopped
Yeah,
off.
but then cybernetics and shit, you know, transhumanism.
Who's ever getting their hand chopped off can't afford cybernetics.
They're not. They're just
not
trying to
doing
get that
it.
loaf of bread like Aladdin, you know.
I did birthright one time for
Yeah.
being a Jew.
Yeah. When'd you go?
And probably like 6 years ago at this point. It was a
Oh,
while
that's
ago.
not. Well, that's relatively recent.
I'm 31.
Yeah.
And I was late doing birthright, so it was probably 20. Yeah, probably like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And you go to the Dead Sea, and that's on the border of Jordan, so you can
Yeah.
see. It's weird because you're in Israel and you can see Jordan, but they don't like each other. So it's
Yeah.
like this weird thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, and you see the people on the Jordanian side, and they're just normal people. You're like, it's crazy that we
And
can't
they all
talk to them.
they look similar too. It's not like you're there's like white and black. It's like everyone's brown
Yeah.
over there.
Totally.
And the Jordanians are a little better than, I think, like, you know, if you were near Syria or like, you know, Iran or, you know, but there is that tension. I had a
Yeah.
friend when I visited Jordan 2014, and I had a friend who was in Israel, and he was like, yeah, dude, just come visit, just pop over. I was like, no, they don't. My family won't. They're not cool with that. You know, you can't just bop over. We're talking about the Gaza Strip here, dude.
Or vice versa. If I wanted to
Yeah.
pop over to Jordan, I'd be like, I don't think it's safe for me there.
It's not that easy, dude. And
Yeah.
even though it's just like a valley, and that's it. It's like, you know, it's a Jordan River. It's where Jesus was supposedly baptized. You know, it's like how we just show so much similar. It's just like so two entirely different, distinct religions, but they're separated by like a mile, like a 2 mile. I don't know how.
By very little, but
Yeah.
also generations of hate and rivalry or whatever.
So good.
I don't even understand. the
It's like
problems in the
it's
Middle
like
East.
Air Force versus Navy in football.
All I know is Trump was going to fix it, and then they took him out. Trump
Yeah.
was fixing all the problems over there.
It was going so well.
Yeah, he was fixing everything. They got rid of him. They made up the
2024, we still
coronavirus.
got a shot. You know,
Was there something in your life that caused you to love UFO stuff, or does it just
I
it
think
always sparked your interest? Did you ever see a UFO?
no, and like I look up to the skies all the time.
You hope. You're like, you hope it's like
Yeah.
God. You hope it'll come speak to you.
I'm wide-eyed all the time. You know, when I'm in Hawaii,
But you
my-
do believe. You're a believer.
I believe that there are UFOs for sure. Like that's, you know, even the government is admitting that now. What those are,
True.
It's open to. I'd like to think that there's like some sort of other life form out there, but I won't ever know. You know, that's part of the sadness.
Probably not.
Probably not. Even though, you know, things are like seem to be really speeding along in that world.
If you did know, would you vlog about it?
Yeah, what I'd do is I'd be like, hey guys, what's up? Kassem here. Pretty big news about UFOs today, probably real. But before I get to that, I just want to say we're giving a giveaway. We're giving a PS5 away to my viewers. All you got to do is retweet. Yeah, I don't know if there wasn't an event. I spent a lot of time as a kid alone, you know, just like every other fucking kid. I was bullied a lot, right? And so when I would come home, I would just want to...
You were bullied?
Yeah, I was bullied a lot, you know. I
Why?
had I had bad acne. I had an
okay.
accent when I came over.
Okay.
I was just not from here, and I moved to like
Now you're like a
predominantly
good-looking
white.
guay.
Thanks,
Got an
dude.
internet following. I feel like you'd be
Internet
doing
following.
the bullying.
Yeah,
That's the cool thing these days.
you got to have it,
Yeah.
or else you're a fucking zero.
In LA.
Yeah.
Else
Yeah.
you're a loser.
So I spent a lot of time watching like you know, that show Sightings. I watched Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of. I spent at the Scholastic, you know, you get the Scholastic book flyers in school, and you could order books. It was either on ghosts or UFO or whatever. I would order
There was
all
a
those.
few Disney Channel shows on paranormal that I watched, and I can't remember the name of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I watched those too. I saw a UFO. want to tell you my UFO story.
I'd love, yeah.
And it was in Roswell.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's real.
It is
100% real.
I'm fucking listening to you with my entire body.
Swear to God. I'm not crazy. I don't really believe in God, although I say God bless to people a lot.
Yeah. It's polite.
And, I love them, but I don't really believe in them.
Sure.
And not a conspiracy theorist.
You don't got to do this with me. Just tell, dude, you seem like a very normal.
I'm so normal that I'm weird. That's how normal I am.
You seem to have a cursory knowledge of many things, I don't know if you have any passions.
I've got like three passions.
We'll get into that,
so I was cleaning. They did something at military school called cleaning your stoop. And that's when you basically just mop and sweep outside of your apartment door, your dorm door.
Yeah.
So it's like there's this cement strip, just a walkway for people.
Yeah.
And the whole school was immaculately clean because we all cleaned it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think once a week we had to mop and sweep the stoops. Too often. They were clean and we'd still have to do it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, this doesn't need mopping or sweeping. We'd have to do it.
Doesn't matter.
And we'd do it as a troop. So there'd be, or as a squad, we'd get assigned it. So there was about 8 of us.
Is a squad 4?
It's anywhere from like 4 to 10 people.
And I only know
depending.
that from video games.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's the small. There's in our troop, there was 2 platoons and 3 squads in each platoon, 3 to 4 squads depending on the size of the troop. So it was like me and I want to say 4 other people roughly. I don't remember how many people. And we're sweeping our stoops, and behind us was this big orange light in the sky, and you could see like the shadow of an object that it was on, and then there was another orange light in the sky that it was connected to. So it was like a giant ship or object in the sky, giant, bigger than any airplane, and it was just floating there too. It wasn't making noise, and it was giant, and like there was fog around it, so you couldn't get a clear view, but there was like 3 or 4 orange lights, and it was giant.
In what shape?
It was round, but it was not like a saucer UFO.
Yeah.
But it was overall it was round, but there were angles and curves.
Oh, you could see.
It was like that kind of, and then round.
Whoa.
Around, but huge and floating there. And we all saw it. It wasn't just me. It was the whole squad.
Yeah.
We were like, what is that?
What time of day?
This was probably 9 p.m. evening from my recollection.
So it was dark. Yeah.
It was darkish, yeah. But there was lights, and there was lights on the mountain that you could see reflections from and stuff like that. And it wasn't high either, the ship. It wasn't like way up there. It was, I don't know.
Like it was in
there was
your
a mountain,
area.
Yeah, it was maybe like right above the Hollywood Hill here.
Oh, yeah.
It was like fairly low.
Yeah.
Like helicopter height, maybe.
Whoa.
Would be a good way to describe it. And I vaguely remember now, but we all talked about it that night. We were all like, oh, I can't believe it. And then all of a sudden it vanished. It was just gone.
Wait, so while you were staring at it, it vanished, or you went inside, you talked about it, and then you went back
while
out?
we were staring at it, it just disappeared. We're like, oh, it's gone.
Like how? Like
Don't know.
Like it zipped away?
No.
Or it just went, wow.
Gone.
Dude.
And so here's where it gets crazy. Obviously, whenever I talk to those people, rarely, we still bring it up. We're like,
Yeah.
remember that night? Like, what was that? And then I went down this rabbit hole. At this time, this was 2005, 2004.
Yeah.
So there was the internet and stuff, but there wasn't. It's not like it is now. You can't.
Everyone had razors. Like I like to measure time with what cell phone was
it was
popular.
flip phones. I had a flip phone. I had a Sanyo flip phone with Sprint PCS at the time. So it wasn't like, get your phone out, film it. It wasn't that culture.
Dude.
But I later went on message boards, like UFO message boards, just to share my story and see this. The thing I saw is very common, that exact same thing.
Yeah.
I've found videos of it since then on the internet, and tons of people who have a very similar sightings and stories. So it wasn't
something
abnormal
with that
at all.
same unique
That
shape
same
to
unique
it.
shape, the orange lights, the way it disappears, like that same story is
it's
rampant on the internet.
I feel like the thing that they saw in the Phoenix Lights, I think that was in like 99 or something like that. Similar. Big object, if you had to guess how wide it was, like measuring by football fields, how many football fields?
3 or 4.
That's huge.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah.
And floating, not like
Yeah.
gliding or.
So the Phoenix Lights happened, and that was a whole city saw it, right? And it was about that size, maybe even bigger. But the mayor came out. It was like this very famous incident in UFOs where a whole city saw it. The mayor came out the next day, had to make a statement about what the fuck happened, right? And he turned it into a joke. He's like, uh-oh, he had one of his like assistants dress up in like a alien outfit and turned it into a joke, right? Just recently has come out saying like, no, dude, I'm sorry for doing that. I was just trying to make light of something that I didn't understand, but I did see something. Even, this dude, this fucking mayor. And everyone describes, I think sometimes we hear about like a triangular giant thing,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta imagine, you're right. There's White Sands missile testing range. There's like Alamogordo, another place, and then there's like a third one. That I
There's tons of military bases all around there.
Right, and
it's the desert, so it's a perfect place to test shit out.
Perfect
so
place to test shit.
It could be government.
It could be, but also that's, even if that is government stuff, like that technology isn't like still not used.
Yeah.
We don't
100%.
know. And it seems like the stuff that's coming out from the government now with all these like the Navy videos that have come out. There's like a FLIR video that's come out. They're saying like, look, here's stuff we don't know what it is. And for the first time, they're like publicly admitting that, which is like it's just crazy to me that the government would do that. But it's just clear there's stuff out there, and that mystery about it, I don't know what it is about all this stuff, but it like fascinates me.
It's very fascinating. I would like more transparency from the government.
Fuck yeah.
I'm a whistleblower. I think what's the guy who's arrested? Who's hiding? Snowden. I'm on his side.
Yeah, man.
Let the secrets out. I don't want to be kept in the dark. I don't think we deserve it. I don't think it's in our best interest.
I hear you. I wonder what would happen. I do think about what would happen if they came out on the news and said, yeah, dude, something crashed in Roswell. It was not from this.
It's been enough time where they could do it. When they announced the just all this UFO footage and stuff, I feel like it was a blip on the radar, that story, because it was during all this Trump nonsense and COVID.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know about it. Even though it's real leaked stuff from the government.
If it didn't come out in the New York Times, no one would have even paid any fucking attention to it. It's so crazy to me that they're like, yeah, this stuff in the skies, guys, the stuff you've been asking us about forever.
They were keeping it a secret. You're right.
Yeah. We don't know. It's not us, and we don't know. And we don't think it's Russia or China.
And that was like page 6 news or something.
Yeah.
It was not
unreal.
It was a bigger deal that Trump got kicked off of Twitter.
Yeah. Your experience is what I dream about. Like, that's the type of stuff I want to see, that silent, massive object. It
wasn't scary. Like, it was just weird. It was just like,
so weird.
What is that?
Man. Yeah. That's the stuff I look up for. That's what I keep to the skies.
It could happen. It could happen. Keep looking. Go out.
When I lived in Florida, I lived in Kissimmee, and
because it was close to your name.
It was as
like,
close to my name as
cute.
possible. It was like it's right because my dad worked at the Marriott there, right near the Disney World, and so like we were forced to live in like arguably one
Orlando,
of the worst.
Yeah,
just terrible.
Trashy. I like Florida, but Orlando's pretty trashy.
I like the beaches. Way better than our beaches here.
Yeah, I actually like trashy people too.
Yeah,
but that's top of the trash list.
It is, and it's a special kind of trash. And the thing is, when I went to school there was like there's a testing, some sort of military testing place somewhere. But I would look up into the sky at lunchtime, and I would see these black streaks fly across the sky, and I always wondered what those were, because then 6 seconds later you would hear the sound of it, because they were breaking the sound barrier. And then when I got older, I was like, oh, those are SR-71s that they were testing nearby. And I was like, that's fucking cool too. Like, think about me as a kid looking up and just seeing a black streak. All that probably figures into why I'm into that.
Yeah, the mystery,
the mystery,
omniscience.
It's just like, what do we get to know as a people, and who are the gatekeepers that get to distill that information for anyone, if anything, you know?
So have you pursued any of these passions like sniping? Have you gotten a gun? Are you a gun owner? Do you
Not
go
a
to
gun
the gun
owner.
range?
No. Guns. I'm generally what they would describe as like a pussy, you know, and so guns scare me. I've fired guns.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not against guns in any way. I think my brother wants to get a gun for his house. I'm like, fuck, go get one.
Yeah.
Just go learn how
But
to
not
use
you.
it. I feel if I have one, it's gonna up my chances of getting shot somehow.
Statistically, it does.
You're right. That's how I feel, and I'm a weak, poor representation of a man, you know. And
No, don't say that about
if
yourself.
somebody
You're a
were to
man.
rob me, I'd go belly up, you know.
You're a man. I've seen videos of people threatening to beat you up.
Yeah.
I was watching videos of you this morning.
Oh.
That sounds like kind of weird, but it's because I was talking to you today.
Yeah. Yeah, do the research.
Tried to do a little research, but there was one of you. You were at it was one of my favorite ones. It was you with your friend, and he was playing guitar.
Yeah, street music.
The street music, and you walked up to this couple like making out on the grass, and then later he's talking to you.
He was not happy.
And he was like, I'm a nice guy for not beating you up right now. I'll beat all of you up.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a part of my YouTube career where it was like, and it's, I don't have it now and I'm not interested in it, but it was like really pushing boundaries. And I think it's just called being annoying. But like we saw these
capturing those funny moments from it. Yeah.
And we had to do that to kind of stand out online. It was before pranks and before people, you know, we didn't do pranks, but we just like interacted with people.
It wasn't a prank, but it was prank adjacent maybe.
We were singing about
Man on the
people
street,
sitting there. Yeah. And so the guy that got pissed, I still think to this day that he was like cheating on his girl with another girl.
And so he was
really
paranoid.
Yeah, he was paranoid that footage would get out because
that could be it.
He was very
Adamant.
that was just the vibe I got. And then, you know, being bullied a lot and
You
like,
couldn't really even see who it was.
No, well,
I mean, you blurted it out, but
we blurted out.
Yeah.
And, you know, if he would have never said anything, it would have turned into anything anyways.
Yeah.
And so, not that made it okay or anything, but, you know, I was like 25. I don't know what, I was young. And,
Oh, no, that's interesting because I really liked, that was one of my favorite videos. Dude. And now you're like, I wouldn't do anything like that anymore.
Not really. You know, I've been making videos. I was like in my early to mid 20s and then now I'm 37. And so there's, you know, I've learned a lot. My sensibilities change, and what I think is funny now is not really what I did. But I had to do certain things to stand out back then, and a lot of my videos are private now, just because like I don't think they represent what I.
You took them down.
I just took them.
I also remember, are these private? And we don't need to talk about them if you want me to
No,
decide
I mean,
will, but
we can talk.
You used to interview porn stars.
Yeah.
And I've come across those just because I'm a giant porn pervert. You know?
Oh, yeah. So was I. You know, it was, so I did a series where it was like a take on Inside the Actor's Studio, and then we'd just interview porn stars, and, you know, it was like, that
pretty
was really
silly.
pushing. At YouTube at the time, there was like, you know, that was very risque, you know, and porn stars were really only...
That would still be risque.
Still be pretty risque, and the jokes were very of that time, and I want to, you know, be able to like feel like I've grown up a little bit and like maybe understand that some of the things I said probably won't fly now, and like I also have a great job now, and I don't need that stuff. Not necessarily come back and haunt me because it's been out and it's still available. Anyone
And
can
probably
go watch
led
it.
to part of the reason why you have this great job.
Yeah,
now.
yeah, and it's totally, and just some of it seemed like, you know, okay, that was fun for that time, and I want to have like a kid one day, and I don't know if that's the type of like they want to
Sure.
remember. They're like, oh, daddy making fun of the, you know, these poor downtrodden,
Interesting.
hurt.
It's funny you say it because I feel like I push the boundaries a lot in my comedy,
Yeah.
and I interview porn stars. And
Yeah.
talk about scandalous things, just kind of unfiltered, I guess is a word for it.
Yeah.
And I do have these fears that, one day I'm going to meet a girl I really like.
Yeah.
And she'll Google me and be like, I can't date that guy.
Oh.
He's crazy.
That's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's happened to me. It's happened, not just people I date, but just people I meet, because if you Googled me for a while, that's what comes up. It's like, oh, this guy's kind of, he's like gross. But there is a way to do that stuff like for today, And I always think about how that would go today, and how I'd do it. I love having unfiltered conversations, but I don't want to be punching down on those girls. I'd rather have it be, either. Yeah. So I'm all for it, dude. Porn's great, and with OnlyFans, I'm an OnlyFans enthusiast. Would
you ever start one?
I don't think I would start one, but the thought, there are people that
maybe you start one for all the stuff you made private.
Oh, a great idea. Yeah.
You want to see it? You go to my OnlyFans.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
Moneymaker.
Occasionally, I'll catch myself after a workout, and I'll be like, somebody would give me $5 for this, for a picture of this.
You got great bod, dude. I wouldn't pay for it, but I know some fellas. It's mostly men. Who?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have too many females doing it. Yeah.
I have no problem. A guy wants to look, let him look.
Let him look.
That says nothing about me.
Yeah.
I drove by a guy yesterday. We were coming back. My brother is currently in the planning stages of proposing to his girlfriend. So we had to go and scope out the place.
Do I need to edit this?
She knows that it's gonna happen.
Okay.
It's like the least surprising thing, But she doesn't know where it's gonna happen or when necessarily. But she has a window. But we were coming back from it, and we drove by a guy who had on the back of his car a bumper sticker that says "Only gay cops pull me over." I thought that's a hell of a sticker to put on.
Do you think that?
What do you do if you're a cop?
Yeah.
You're faced with a big dilemma.
Yeah, I wonder if, I'm curious to know if that works.
Imagine being a cop,
how many times he's been pulled over.
This guy just broke the speed limit.
But then part of me thinks that's who it would work on. Would be like a dick cop.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm not fucking gay.
I'm not fucking gay.
Yeah, I'm not pulling that guy over.
Consider drive by. Consider this a warning. Yeah. Yeah. Well, good for that kid, He's
and then it is funny because and then if you do pull a cop over, I mean, if a cop does pull you over, even if he's not gay, it is funny. You get a little, you're gay in there.
I would lean into it if I was the cop. I'd be like, hey, license and registration.
Oh, I see you have brown eyes.
And phone number.
Oh, 5'9" on your license. Are you really 5'9"? You look taller to me.
Yeah, and just lean in, sit on the little window ledge right there. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. If you were a funny cop,
yeah,
I don't know too many funny cops, but there's a lot of room for comedy.
Right? Yeah, I feel like now is the least funny time to be a cop.
It's the worst.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we need cops in some sort of version. I don't think they need to have tanks.
Oh, I could.
But as a weak man,
I mean, part of me walks around LA and it already feels like there's no cops because there's homeless people everywhere, rampant drug use, all, needles on the ground, disgusting city where I'm like, isn't this something a cop should be enforcing a little bit?
Shouldn't a cop at least just be walking around here twirling his baton and whistling just to show a presence?
Yeah. But then again, if you took the cops away, I think it would be even worse. I think the problem would be
it would not totally. In Venice, I bought a place with my ex on the beach on Venice Beach last year.
You guys still have it together?
No. She has it, but it's right on the boardwalk.
Did she buy you out?
We're in the process of recouping that.
Are you still amicable?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. And you live and you learn, Ari, about relationships. And
I just went on a 4th date last night. I like her a lot.
With the same girl, fourth date? Yeah. Where'd
that's
you meet her?
For me.
Yeah, I got on the dating apps for the first time ever. Is that how?
Yeah, I did. I met her. I slid in her DMs on Instagram. Same way I met you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is she is she a comedian? Is she in the world?
I try to avoid that.
Sure.
I try as best I can. Listen, I don't get enough women to where if a hot comedian was like, I want to be with you, I'd be like, well, you're a comic, so
Yeah.
bring that hot
Yeah.
pussy to someone else.
Right.
But no, she's a normal girl. She lives in Orange County.
Oh yeah,
Normal
you get a
job.
lot of normal girls out of Orange County. They're
Yeah.
with the Republican dads,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and they're, they have a reputation of being a little high maintenance. I hope that's not the case with your lovely young
No,
lady.
she's not. She's a
great.
hardworking woman. Chill.
That's so
But
cool.
you're back on the hunt.
Well, I haven't really had much time, but I did dabble a little bit, and I for a long time was adverse to dating apps, but got into it for a couple months.
Especially during the whole quarantine. It's
Everyone
about the only
seemed
way.
like everyone joined. That
Yeah,
was
I mean,
single.
well, you can't go to. I don't like going to bars, but you couldn't go to a bar to
Yeah.
meet a girl.
Yeah.
Everyone's working from home, so you're
Yeah.
not meeting people at the job.
Well, so you were following her or not following her on Instagram? Like, how'd you come
I
across?
didn't even follow her.
You just saw a pretty girl.
I saw a pretty girl.
No mutual friends.
No mutual friends.
That's bold. That's very bold.
What do you have to lose? I
Nothing.
listen. I didn't send her. I didn't send her a message saying like, "Show me your tits."
Yeah.
I was
Because
like,
you always have to think like this could be screen capped and put online, and I could
I
be.
think that, but that's so. I do think that way. So my typical, if I slide into a girl's DMs, it'll be like, "Hey, how are you?"
Sure.
Just something really casual, and then if
Yeah.
they take the bait,
Yeah.
they know, listen. They know what's up too. Hey, how
They're
are
not
you?
stupid.
They know exactly what that means.
Right.
That means I think you're cute,
Yeah.
and I'd like to be with you on some
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah. Physically, I would like to be with you in
Physically.
about 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. from
Physically,
this
I'd like to be
message.
with you, or take you on a date, whatever that may. They know something's up. They know that I'm not. That I don't want to know about their day. Or I mean, I
Yeah.
do, but that's not all it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a great statement, and you get a lot of people that try and be so witty with that first, right off the bat. But I don't think it's necessary.
I don't
I
either.
think
They're
it's
gonna
trying too hard.
what because they don't. As long as you don't come off across as a creep,
Yeah.
they're gonna look at you, your pictures. It's
Yeah.
basically Tinder at that point.
Yeah.
Instagram is basically Tinder now.
Yeah.
You slide into a girl's DMs, they're gonna check you out, and if they're interested, they're gonna respond back. Hey, it's
Yeah.
good. How's yours?
Yeah.
And now game on.
Right. Keep your profiles public, guys. It's really hard to do
If
the
you're
work.
trying to meet people,
If you're
keep up.
trying- if you're
then
trying to-
and that is a good. If a girl's profile's on private, I leave
Yeah.
her alone.
Yeah.
I don't slide into the DMs. of private
Exactly.
girls.
Here's what happened with me is like a couple girls, because when you're on dating apps, you end up talking to like 3, 4, and
yeah,
then
you feel like a player.
you feel gross.
Look at all these girls I'm talking to.
Yeah, it's like, ugh. And so the next step after talking with them is like also looking at their Instagrams, and
You
for
have to.
a couple of them, I had to. You go, hey, do you have Instagram? And then they go, yeah. Because sometimes it's just connected to their dating
Right.
app, but if it's not, you have to ask. And when you ask, and then they give you one, and it's private, you're faced with a
Do I follow this person
Right, well, yeah,
to
it's
see
like-
their pictures?
right, and you already
Yeah.
asked, so they know you're interested, and so you have to like, all right, I guess I like to keep my follow count low, but like, you don't say that, but you go, all right, I'll send you an ad, and then they add you, and then most of the time it doesn't. You just
Yeah,
go-
and now you're
right?
just following this random girl.
I have 3 of those right now, where I'll just be like, who the fuck? Every once in a while on the feed, I'll go, who is this? Oh yeah, like this is this girl.
So, you started your online store. You're an entrepreneur. Maybe you have an eBay business. Maybe you sell t-shirts of your own. Maybe you sell your own children's book like me. Who knows what you do? Maybe you sell underwear as a beautiful woman. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you. But the point is, a lot of people are starting online businesses, including myself, and everyone needs to ship things these days. The best, cheapest, most convenient, easiest solution to do this is using ShipStation. ShipStation has deals with all the major carriers, UPS, FedEx, USPS. And what this means is they give you the best possible prices to ship your things. That's whether you're doing it on Amazon, Etsy, your own website, you can use ShipStation. Just like the Fortune 500 companies, that means getting those big bulk discounts. I use it when I sell my t-shirts and books on my website, and it has been nothing but stellar, easy, cheap. It has changed the way I do it, because before it was like, ugh, I got to go to the UPS store. I got to print the thing. I got to buy the box. It's expensive. It's annoying. Now it's just easy. I just use ShipStation. And that is why it is the best shipping software to use. I highly recommend it. And right now, for my listeners, you can use the promo code therapy to get a 60-day free trial. That's 2 months for free, no hassle, stress-free shipping. Just go to ShipStation.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in therapy. That's ShipStation.com. Enter offer code therapy. Make ship happen. I know what you're saying. It is not just the follow count. It's like, I also don't want it when I am in a relationship with a girl. Yeah. I don't want to be following all these girls I met on Bumble for a day.
Yeah.
And I also, like you said, most of the time you stop talking to them.
Yeah.
Or you look at their pictures and you're not interested, because people choose the best photos of themselves for Bumble or Tinder. And then once you actually see their Instagram, she's not as good looking as I wanted her to be, or whatever.
That happens often, and we should normalize unfollowing those people, and no one should take offense,
No, and I don't think they do. And I get unfollowed the same way. A girl will follow me because she's talking to me, and then actually she unfollows me. And it stings slightly.
It does.
I'm like,
more than it should for me.
Yeah, I'm like, I get it, but also, come on.
As like an average looking guy, my follow counts are a big part of who I am.
See,
it's all I can provide is some
no
low
homo,
level of,
no homo, but I think you're a good looking guy.
Oh, thank you. I think the same. I think you've got a very Andy Samberg. I'm sure you've gotten that. Yeah, absolutely.
I get every Jew imaginable. Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg, Jason Biggs, who's not even Jewish but looks Jewish.
Not Jewish. Jason Biggs
isn't
huh?
Jewish. Yeah.
Wow.
Common misconception that people have.
Yeah. I was one. No, you're a great looking guy.
But so
Good
I would
build.
imagine you don't need. Oh, thanks. I would imagine you don't need dating apps. I would imagine you have a public profile. You probably have women going for you in the DMs all the time.
It happens, but you really, there's something about somebody knowing and coming after. There's a little bit of like uncomfortable.
Right. It's not quite as. It's the relationship starts off weird if someone's like a fan of you.
Yeah. There's a weird power dynamic that I'm not comfortable with. I really enjoy when
they don't know who you are.
When you don't know, and then they like are surprised that you like, oh yeah, look like you done okay for yourself. I like the under promise over deliver aspect of dating.
I like that. And same thing when it comes to life. When meeting someone will always be like, "Are you funny?" I always say no.
Yeah,
I'm not. Come to my show. I'm not funny.
Right.
And then if I have a good set, they're like, "You're really funny." And I'm like, "Thanks."
Always. And my therapist, back to him, he's always like, "Well, you should be. It shouldn't be too much of the self-deprecation or like the." But my default is to deflect and to minimize everything I've ever done, because there's a part of me that feels like, oh, I got lucky, and like a right time, right place. There's just a lot of those sorts of feelings, and then there's a part of me that's super proud of like everything. But to me, it's more attractive to not be the guy walking around with his chest puffed out and like, hey, like look at this and look at that and like, although when you met me, I come out, I pull out. We had this conversation about a car. And I'm not, people that know me.
You have a nice car.
I like cars, yeah. But like, I feel like
I didn't take that as, oh, look, this fucking phony guy.
I'm so glad. I'm so happy you said that.
No.
I just want people to know I really love cars, And so when the opportunity came for me to get the car I wanted, I bought the car I wanted. I don't buy a lot of cars. I only have my truck and this car.
What kind of truck you got?
I had Tacoma.
Nice.
And I like, as a kid growing up, I was really into off-roading. So it's like, it's long traveled and it's built for like desert off-roading. And like I did the Baja 1000. Like I like motorsport. There's parts of me that are very bro stuff growing up in Southern California.
I'd like to see that on your YouTube. You off-roading in your Tacoma.
Yeah. One of the best experiences of my life was doing the Baja 1000 with Andy Bell, who was in the Nitro Circus.
How long is that?
It's 1,000 miles, and it's like over
Damn.
over
You did that?
I did a leg of it, a small
Wow.
portion of it, because I think Andy was just throwing me a bone. Like
Right.
he's like, he knew I always wanted to go, and
That's so cool.
He was like, how about we're building this truck? It has 3 seats. Normally there's just the driver and the co-driver, the navigator, and then they both have to kind of be mechanics. So they built a truck with 3 seats. So they had a mechanic in the back. I could navigate, co-drive, and then he would drive.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, this is the perfect opportunity for me to
that
like.
sounds rad.
And it was the fucking most intense couple days of my life, and like, but one of those things I checked off, you know.
When you're doing something like that, is it all kind of intense sport race, or is it because you're in the car with them for all day, right?
Yeah, my leg was like 5-6 hours. Yeah.
So you're in their car for 5-6 hours, but he's in a race.
Yeah,
So-
we're
so-
all in the race, and my eyes are looking at a screen because I'm telling him. My job is to tell him like, hey, dude, you have a 90-degree right turn in 800 meters or whatever, and then I'll be like, in 400 meters, in 200 meters, it's gonna be a night, you know. And so because he can't be surprised,
Right.
He has to know where we're going.
So is that intense of you doing that the whole time?
Almost
or is
the
there
whole
an
time.
hour, where you're like, so how's your girlfriend doing?
Not
What's your daughter up to these
There was-
days? Like,
yeah, there was none of that. It was like
so you felt there was pressure on you.
there was pressure the whole
Yeah.
time for me, you know, because I had to make sure I didn't want to fuck it up. It was a
'Cause
very nice gesture.
You've never done something like that.
I've
before.
done very casual off-roading, but not in a race format, not in the
Right.
biggest off-road race in
Right.
the
Yeah. So
United
you don't want to
States.
fuck it up.
Don't want to fuck it up. The Toyota this is a Toyota race truck. Toyota as the company, the brand, they need this this truck to cross the finish line because it's like provides, all
Yeah.
this sort of brand exposure, you win on Sunday, you sell on Monday sort of thing. And it was a brand new Tundra. It was like all this stuff. And so I didn't want to be the weak link because Andy was like, yeah, just like, come on. He's very like, yeah, dude, just come and do this race.
Right.
And I really took it very seriously and I didn't want to fuck up. So I was also, you're just up and down the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're coming up over berms. And I also had to be in charge of the horn. So the horn is over here on the race truck, and you have to honk because there are just spectators on the side of the thing. And
So
you can
for
be
safety.
driving for an hour in
Yeah.
the middle of nowhere. There will be nobody, not a single fucking person. And then you come up over a berm, and then there's like a Mexican family of like 50 barbecuing, and they're fucking drunk, and they've got their beers, and their kids are all running around.
I want
and
to
you're
do
like,
that. I want to get a family and
20
barbecue
20
next to a
yards away. Yeah,
racetrack.
you're so close to ending lives, and people have died,
Yeah, sure.
and so you have to honk. You want to honk at them because they're the spectators. And but so you're just like, any moment you can die, somebody can die. You need to win a race. And then when we got a flat tire, it's like, oh cool, well, we get to come out, stand outside for a second. No, you've got to fucking change your flat tire
as fast as you
as
can.
fast as you can.
Yeah.
In under 5 minutes. And we've practiced for this. So it's not like you get to fucking, sit there, have a cigarette if that's what you do, and have
No.
a drink. No, that's
It's not a
even
break.
more stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when it's done, you sweat through your whole thing. You've had a catheter on the whole time.
You wore a catheter?
Wore a catheter. They drill a
Wow.
hole in the bottom of the truck, and then the tube comes out.
I did
and
not
so
know
you
this.
don't you don't pull over to piss. You just piss.
You pee out the bottom of the truck.
You pee out the bottom. Yeah.
Now, was there any pressure for you to pee a lot to make the truck lighter,
No.
to go faster?
No, that's smart thinking. That's why
Yeah.
we need a guy like you on the team.
So you need a fourth seat.
Yeah, we need to add
You need to add
180
weight.
pounds. Yeah, 150. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how much you weigh. I'm sure it's not 180 casts.
170. I'm a man.
Yeah, you wear it well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty lean, but I got a paunch belly that I'd like to work on.
You have the stand-up, the stand-up physique,
Just a guy who doesn't take care of himself.
You've got to be, you can't be super fat because, look, it's a physical thing. I mean, you can be Ralphie May, but
No, it's not
that
ideal.
didn't happen.
You don't want to be Ralphie May. His heart was at the end of his career, and he was a nice guy and always really nice to me. And I got to his podcast one time, but he was not like when you were in a room with him, you're like, oh, this like you feel bad. You're like, this guy's gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
it would be hard for me as a audience member to watch him and just not think about, holy shit, this guy is so big.
Yeah.
He is so big and unhealthy.
Yeah.
You have to, at least for the first 10 minutes, that's in your head.
Right.
And I remember if you look at his stand-up specials on Netflix, if you go in the order of them, the first one, he like walks up these stairs onto the stage. The second one, he like walks backstage to the stage.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, he's on stage and the curtain's open because he literally was so big.
Yeah.
If he walked from backstage to the stage, he'd be panting. And you can't be panting on your Netflix special. You have to tell your jokes. So it's like,
Yeah, that's
it was
when
bad.
Gabriel Iglesias lost all that weight. It was nice to see. You know, I don't know. I haven't seen him recently, but I think, it's one of these things where you don't have to be in any kind of shape to do, but you know, you are traveling a lot. And you're eating a lot of junk food, I imagine, and
you're staying up late. That's the
Staying up
issue. Is
late.
like 2 a.m.
yeah,
I just finished my shows. You're kind of like high from doing stand up and making an audience laugh or not laugh. You're either high from doing good or feeling really bad about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, you're like, junk food would make me feel pretty good right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you look like you handle it in a healthy-ish way.
I try.
Yeah.
But every day's a new struggle. But my goal is to get a six-pack and get a sleeve of tattoos, and then I'll get a girlfriend.
Absolutely.
If I had those things,
Start drumming.
that'd be sick.
Yeah, it'd be so sick.
Drummers get so many babes.
Well, I'm glad you're on a fourth date. What is a fourth date? Like, what is a fourth date? Because it's
So
that's sex. That's probably sex.
yeah, I had a lot of sex last night.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You look like you're.
I'm drained
you're
from
glowing.
sex. No, the first date went out to dinner.
Yeah.
The second date was she came over actually, but we didn't have sex.
Sure.
Believe it or not.
Yeah,
She just came over and we had dinner and again, Third date we got frozen banana and walked along the beach.
Nice.
And the fourth date she came over. We had a lot of sex.
Yeah, you saw her with the frozen banana, and you're like, I can't take any more of that.
You
Next
can't
date,
do that in
we're
front of
doing-
me.
Yeah.
No, but it's so that's
That's
a
nice.
nice feeling. Yeah, we'll see.
Is it one of those things where you guys are checking in every day on the texts or?
I'm a
phone
pretty. That's one of her issues with me.
call?
I'm
That
not.
you aren't available as much as she'd like.
I'm not the best communicator over text. I try to keep my days busy. I try not to get sucked into texting a girl back and forth all day. It's just like
Can that
talk to
happen
you when
to
I
you?
see you.
Can you get really invested?
Yeah,
And it
and then I'm on my
distracts you.
then I'm
Yeah.
distracted and taken
Yeah.
away from other things. So she's like, "You're not the best texter." I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you."
Well, look, I think owning up to it and not being defensive about it, is great. It's a good sign for her.
What is your dream lady? Because there's a lot of people listening right now that want to be your lady.
Oh man.
A lot. I have
You mean it?
9% of my listeners are women, so
Yeah.
that's probably about 9.
Combine
women.
that with my 8%.
Is yours male dominant too?
Yeah, for sure. But although, since doing the podcast, because Jamie's got a big female audience, I think it's, and when I did Tiger Belly, I got a lot of,
Females?
I got a lot of females, surprisingly. A lot of females.
You got Kalila.
Kalila's on there representing a lot of the Hoppas and the Asian. I got a lot of Asian.
Love Asians.
Tremendous people.
Love Asian women, Asian guys. I feel powerful around them. I'm feeling they're great. They're nice. They're smart.
Totally.
Is that racist?
No.
Okay.
No. I love the feeling of superiority. I try to
not
dip
superior,
into
powerful.
it. Yeah, I think it's great. My ideal girlfriend would be.
What's your type?
I like to, especially lately. I it's so funny because now I work at G4 TV, which is like gaming. So I'm playing a lot of games right now.
What's your go-to game? Too. Follow-up question to your type.
So
a girl who plays what
I would like a
game?
girl who understands that. I like to go out. This is what my exes had a big problem with. I like to stay home, but I will go out.
Yeah.
Right. But
you're an introvert. You stay home, but that's not all you do.
It's not all I do, and and I can understand her frustrations, but I really enjoy like watching a movie with my partner, you know, and like talking about the movie or like binging a series.
Same.
It's quality connection for me. Her way of connecting was like outside at a flea market, you know, 6 a.m. Long Beach flea market or whatever it is. Very tough for me.
Yeah, that's a day. You get home, you're tired.
You're tired. You got to take a nap, or you got to go to bed
Watching
early.
movies is, think about, I watch movies by myself. You do that with like a person you care about that you kiss here and there
Yeah,
on the mouth. You lean over and get a
Yeah.
little smooching. That's
so
the
nice.
best thing.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I like to be doing physical activities, but like I really enjoy my time at home. Yeah, I've spent a lot of effort trying to make my home a place where I enjoy being, you know, and I keep it clean, and fridge is always stocked, and I've got a subscription to every goddamn app, you know, Netflix, Hulu, everything.
Got to get your money's
I
worth.
got Shudder. You know, not a lot
What's
of guys
Shudder?
I know.
I don't
It's the horror. It's the horror.
Oh,
app
I don't
one.
like horrors. They give me nightmares.
Well,
I can't sleep.
You know,
at
we
night.
couldn't date.
Yeah,
I love a good
exactly.
horror. You know that when I get scared, I get that. I get. The cortisol's released. And
Yeah.
I get that good. You
I
know,
get that too, but not in a good way.
yeah. There's it's one or two ways. So I, you know, somebody who enjoys watching things, and like I've never expected a girl to enjoy video games. Just to me, like a girl that I'm dating, anyways.
Mhm.
But if somebody like also enjoyed games and like we could play a game together, like I'm playing
yeah.
Resident Evil 7, not 8. 8 just came out.
What console is this on?
I'm playing on PC.
PC, okay.
Um,
I'm a PC gamer as well.
yeah, hell yeah.
2070 NVIDIA.
Nice. I built my computer in 2016, so I still have my 1080 in there. And it's
Damn.
time. Yeah.
You work at G4 and you have a 1080?
I know.
The 3080 is out.
I know, but how
yeah,
can
you
you
can't
get
get it.
one?
Yeah, you
I
can't
mean,
get it.
geez, I'd love to get one. So yeah, I'm playing Resident Evil 7 because I didn't play it and I want to play it before 8. And I'm just in this, like, even before I got here, I was playing it. I'm just in a weird headspace. It's very dark, you know, and like I played for like 6 hours yesterday, and there's just a lot of that carryover, you know, but I like it. I like being in that and then coming out and then going back in. There's something very cool, but it would be so cool to share. My greatest memories are beating games with friends when I was younger, you know. We still talk about it. Me and
sounds
my
great.
old high school buddies will just be like, dude, remember when we beat, you know, Ocarina of Time or you know, Silent Hill? We played it all the way through overnight and we beat, I mean, some of the best moments, and it may sound lame to some people, but I enjoy fucking games, dude.
That sounds like a great woman right there who likes
if-
those things.
yeah.
And I think she's listening to this right now. She's about to slide into your DMs.
Dude, if you're a girl and you played like The Last of Us 2, you know.
If you have
and
a 30 series NVIDIA card,
yeah.
that's a turn. If a girl's like,
Bring
hey,
something to the
I have a
relationship.
3080 in my PC. Oh yeah,
Fuck
let's
yeah.
date.
I'm wet.
Sign me up.
Big time.
I have a business question for you. So you work at G4, this great job. I used to watch G4 when it was on digital cable, and they
Same.
it was like tech reviews, I think, when I watched
Yeah.
it. Even more. I don't even know. I think they did gaming
They had
too.
Tech
but-
TV and then it turned into
yeah, like Leo Laporte was on it,
Sure.
and like things like that. That's when I used to watch it back in the day. But from my perspective, you were killing it on the internet. So like I don't obviously know how much money you were making, but like your YouTube channel is very successful. You still
Yeah.
do a podcast that's doing good. Like you have all these things going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people, or from my perspective, it's like, what made you want to go to G4 and not continue doing what you were doing?
Yeah, great question. I think my YouTube really, I kind of stopped
I
a
noticed
few
that.
years ago, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it had to do with my mental health, and I sobered up, you know, like 4.5 years ago, and so my priorities kind of shifted, and the YouTube quote unquote game it's not for me, and it's like a young man's game, and it's not something that I can really feel like I want to do or compete well in. And so also YouTube's ad revenue, like just dried up. They demonetized everything, you know. And I'm not one of those people that like took to the internet and be like, why did you know, we're the creators, and like I understand why they did it. Like, how are you going to monetize a video of me talking to a porn star? Like, I made my money while it was there. I was very fortunate to be a co-founder in a company that sold, and like I had very fortunate, and so I had savings. I had, you know, bought myself a home, and like I'm able to maintain a lifestyle. But like after a while, you're not really bringing in revenue. So I've just spent the last few years being like, well, I do want to do this podcast. I do a podcast called Pajama Pants, and we're just starting to make a little bit of money, but like barely covering the costs of productions, and that's kind of changing. And honestly, G4 was a place I watched as a kid, and I always thought was the dream gig. Because I've always been a gamer. If I could play games and then also talk about them and get paid, like that to me is like, I would just sign that contract for the rest of my life and just keep doing that. So when the opportunity came up, it was the first time in years where I was like, let's do it. Like, let's try and get this thing. Everything, I've like left so much money on the table just by like pure ambivalence and like, you know, not being motivated enough. And so this was like the first time where I really wanted a thing, you know, and I, you know, went to my managers and I'm like, look, I know I don't call you guys often, but like, this is something I'd really enjoy to do. And it's a perfect sort of mix of my skills. I'd make videos, but I also play games and my interests, and like, you know, let's fucking find a way to make it happen. And, you know, so I spent like months, probably like 3-4 months, like interviewing and like getting to whatever thing. And
yeah, I imagine it's very competitive even.
Well, there's a lot of there's a lot of people that like
people that want this gig,
want it, and they would be way better than me at it. And I just like,
I don't know about that.
Well, I think I provide a good mix of things that they need a host to be familiar with, but like also like I love comic books, and like me being a comic book guy had a lot to do with getting that gig, and because there are people that do the games and play games and know more about games than me. But I have a good mix of like hosting experience, comic book knowledge, TV, film knowledge, and then also like part of me really wants to introduce like some of the paranormal stuff that I like did on my YouTube channel, like the ghosts and Bigfoot stuff, and be able to like continue doing that. Because the whole reason I stopped doing that stuff because it cost so much money.
It was an hour-long video.
It was an hour-long video. I didn't charge it. Like, it was before Patreon. I didn't like break it up into 5 parts. They wanted me to like break it up and have like a sponsor for each one. I'm like, no, I want an uncut fucking hour of whatever this is. And people will watch it or they won't, but like I'll feel good about it, you know? And it's still up there, and it's still one of my favorite, it's like one of the few pieces of content that me and like my buddies will still like talk about, like, dude, remember that? Like, what was up with that guy? And we'll just crack ourselves up over the experience of filming. And that was the experience. That's why I love the Jackass movies so much. I think I will tell you that the Jackass movies are among the best films ever made.
It's nonstop entertainment.
It's nonstop, and it's a group of guys that are legitimate pals and friends and best friends, and they all do this thing together. And I always tried to incorporate that into my videos towards the end with the Bigfoot or the ghosts. And like, I am not talented enough to do it on my own. I need friends there, and I want friends there.
It's more fun.
And it's way more fun. And I got, you know, through the mental health struggles and stuff like that, I really couldn't afford to do things that were like emotionally draining. I had to do things that like enhanced my happiness. And so G4 is now a version of like early YouTube to me. They're trying to relaunch, and they're doing all this thing. They have a little bit of cachet from people who remember them, which is just like me. People kind of remember me or did. Some people do. And then now there's a sort of newer iteration of G4, and there's newer iteration of myself that are coming and trying to do something that is different, but a little bit of what, you know, made them fun and interesting in the past. And I honestly it's like my dream gig. And yeah, they're paying me for sure.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't do it and not get paid.
Sure,
But,
of course.
I would.
But obviously, you have enough in your life where it wasn't just for money. You
No.
liked it. Yeah. This
And it
was
took
a
me-
passion project.
Totally. And it took me years to kind of get to a point where I'm like, I feel solid enough in like my sobriety, in the type of
What
content.
drugs were you doing?
I just drank a lot, and I
drank.
smoked a ton of weed. You know, I was on like getting Doug with high like 15 fucking times. You know, like and those were fun. And God bless Doug. It just you know, there was more stuff happening, kind of
Right.
like, you know, and that wasn't my best version of myself. And yeah, so it's also a challenge to me to see if I can like still be interesting now, you know, and yeah, so honestly feel like I will work there as long as they'll have me. But it is a network and they need to make money, and like who knows, it could just be a year, it could be 2 years, I don't know.
They'll give you a shot. You're a good guy.
I'm
They'll at
stoked.
least, at
Yeah.
the minimum, they'll be like, he's a good guy. Let's give him another year.
Yeah.
He's
That's
nice.
the other thing, is like trying to be a good guy. There are people in comedy that I realize when I think about, I go, that guy's so good. What is it about that guy? What can I learn from that? They're generally people that are giving, and they're not gatekeepers to comedy.
Mm-hmm.
They're successful and they're talented, but they're also like accessible, and they're not people that shame you for doing, you know, I don't know. I just felt like if I could be a tenth of that, you know, and be a nice enough guy, any production I've ever been on, I always noticed the people that kept coming back or that keep getting work they're talented, but they're also great
They're
to
fun
work
to be
with.
around. Yeah, they're easy going.
And somebody told me that a long time ago. They're like, people, I think it was an old acting teacher. They're like, people get work because people like being around them.
100%. If you're not mega famous, if you're not
Right.
selling tickets to that movie,
Yeah.
and you're a dickhead or
Yeah.
just like a prima donna, or like, hey, I
Right.
need this drink in the green room or whatever it is, just make it difficult for people. People
Yeah.
remember that. And then the next movie comes around, they're like, should we get him again? Be like, yeah, maybe, but
Right.
he wanted 3 steak dinners a night and it was kind of annoying.
Totally. There is that balance. I mean, there is like this uber level of talent where people can just be whoever they
whatever,
want,
yeah.
and they'll always get hired. And that's like,
That's like Will Smith and The Rock. Yeah.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
saying that they're difficult
Yeah.
to work with, but like they could be if
Right.
they wanted to be.
And then you hear about guys like Keanu Reeves, who are just supposedly the nicest men in the world. And it's not a coincidence that they just keep landing like franchise after franchise. They're hard workers, but Keanu Reeves is not like an uber talented actor. He's just good. He's great, but he's also a very nice guy, and he's humble, and like he understands what role he plays. But if you're like, you know, people talk about all the assholes in the business, and that circulates like
It's more fun to talk about. But
more
the
fun.
nice
Like, everyone
guys,
knows
yeah.
about Jeremy Piven. Like everyone had, you know, there's like, but I've never had an experience with him. But like also that I
tell by
would
his
never
hats.
be, yeah, I'd never be want to be a guy who has that sort of reputation. And that's only something I think that's come with a little bit of age. When I was younger, I was like, what do I got to do to like make it? Whose throat do I got to step on? You know? And, yeah, I not that I like had that reputation, but I was less concerned about the people around me, you know, even though when you retire at the end of the day, those are the people that are around you when you're not filming, and like, you know, especially the women that I dated, I just feel terrible for, you know, just like the type of guy that they had to be around. But yeah,
This is self-deprecating stuff. You weren't that bad. I've never heard anyone talk
it
bad
wasn't
about
that
you.
bad. It wasn't.
I'm going
you
to
know.
see if we got any voicemails to play real quick. We might not have. People get scared to leave them. Oh, we got one. Here we go. We got one caller.
Hey Ari, I'm having a problem with a coworker. I had my coffee on the table, and he came in and spilled it. Now he says it's my fault because the mouthpiece wasn't on when he spilled it. But I had just taken a drink.
This
I had
is,
left the
quite the
room
problem.
for 2 seconds, and if I'd known his ass was going to come in there and knock it over, I would have the mouthpiece on.
Poor
But
guy.
He's
Oh my
saying,
gosh.
my fault for no mouthpiece. So whose fault is it? Is it his fault for knocking it over? My fault, no mouthpiece. What do you think? Thank you.
Dude, I didn't know this type of calls you're taking. I thought this was like a comedy podcast. That's very serious.
It gets real.
Wow.
It gets really real. What would you say to them? I'll let you go first.
Look, what kind of psychopath is going to expect every cup of coffee to have a mouthpiece on it, you know? I have a nice mug at home, and it's got the lid.
If I knock that over right now, it's not your fault because you opened it.
It's on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not that other guy's in the wrong 100%. Now, am I being am I serving other people by putting the lid on my Yeti mug, you know, with the magnet close system? It keeps my coffee hotter and potentially reduces the amount of coffee spilled on an impact. But that's not, you cannot expect people to walk around with a Yeti mug.
Right.
With a lid.
It sounds like it's the guy who knocked it over's fault. 100%. That being said, is he a bully? If he's a bully, yeah, don't back down. If he isn't a bully, maybe just be the bigger man and be like, sorry, I left it on the mouthpiece off. I don't know. Kill him with kindness. You're right. Sorry about that. Sorry for leaving my cup on the table.
Yeah, and then resent the guy quietly. Yeah, let it turn into
maybe get
thing.
the Yeti cup so that it could never happen to you ever again. Maybe this is a lesson for you.
It could be. The guy who knocked it over sounds like he's a narcissist, some sort of doesn't want to accept responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Could be my ex. Could be a lot of things.
You can't say that stuff. You're still trying to get money for the house.
Yeah, that's right. I got to be.
Your ex is great. Great relationship. What a nice person.
I've learned a lot from her.
Definitely.
She's taught me so much.
She's a great girl. Is there anything in your life that I could help you with? Another week, another episode, another ad for magicmind.co, the longest running sponsor here at Unlicensed Therapy. It is a 2-ounce energy shot called Magic Mind. And they call it that because it's a magic little shot. It makes me very productive, very energetic. They claim 30 to 40% more productive, and I believe it. Maybe it's 25% more, but you know what? It's significant. It's enough to where I literally have days where I take Magic Mind and days where I don't, and I notice the difference. It is a much healthier alternative to coffee or energy drinks. It is delicious. You can go to magicmind.co. Get a big ass discount using the coupon code ARI or promo code ARI at magicmind.co. It has honey in it to make it taste pretty good because they have a lot of healthy things in it that would make it not taste good without the honey. Nootropics with lion's mane mushrooms, and it gives you a phosphatidylcholine boost. Let me try and read that again. Lion's mane mushrooms, choline, choline, and a phosphatidylcholine boost. I'm going to spell it out so you know how hard this word is. PHOSPHATIDYLSERINE boost. Gives a boost for the blood flow and cognition. Adaptogens. Check out this word. Ashwagandha and turmeric. Ashwagandha and turmeric. ASHWAGANDHA. Ashwagandha and turmeric help decrease stress and decrease post-exercise inflammation in the body. And of course, matcha, naturally occurring L-theanine, THEANINE, to keep you going and keep you focused. I know I just read a bunch of shit from their website, but it truly is an amazing energy shot that I can't have enough of. They have sent me 3 cases so far, and it goes like this because I ran out clearly because my mind, I can't even talk. Not only do I drink these things, my younger brother, my friend Abby, everyone who uses this studio and comes to the studio on a regular basis, they fly. They're gone. So please send me more Magic Mind, and for everyone else, go to magicmind.co and use the promo code ARI, A-R-I, just 3 letters, and support them, which in turn supports the show, and which also in turn supports your mental health and energy levels. And you're going to thank me. magicmind.co. Promo code Ari. Thank you.
Well,
I always ask that to people when they're in here. I like to be helpful. If any advice,
when we're done
you need
recording,
money.
I'll need to know where the bathroom is. But as of right now,
Oh, I can show you where the bathroom is.
oh hell yeah. You said you had passions. You said you had 3 passions.
My passions, I would say, are longboard, skateboarding.
Okay, this is gonna help me answer your question, by the way.
Okay, I like that a lot. I like podcasting and stand-up.
Yeah.
If that counts, does that count as a passion?
Yes.
Since we're doing okay, that's
Yeah.
a passion. And I like gadgets and electronics
Oh,
and like
Yeah.
tech. I'm a big tech guy.
what area of that?
I would say computers and
Yeah.
camera and audio recording equipment, stuff like production equipment. I'm just a big gadget freak.
I noticed.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
very taken with your whole setup here.
Yeah. So I put all this together. I'm always tinkering with things like, oh, maybe that $90 mic arm is a little better than that $90 mic arm. Oh,
Yeah.
let's try that mic. I'm always just like fine tuning and finding the best piece of gear.
That is the struggle I love to be a part of. It's in ever evolved because every year something new, something better comes out. So
And
it
I'm
never gets
reading
old.
Engadget every day.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see that when it's out.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Putting stuff on a wish list.
Mhm.
You know, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, look, I would love to get a 3080. You know, I would love help getting a 3080. I need probably a completely new system at home, but I have a decent enough system that plays games.
Right. It's not causing you issues.
It's not causing me issues. I played Cyberpunk at a.
Are you playing at 1080p?
Well, I was capped at like 50 frames a second, so it
But
struggled.
are you on a 1080 monitor?
Yeah, I'm on
Got to
a.
get up to 4K.
Yeah,
It's
I'm on a 1080
2021.
with 240 hertz because I play a lot of Rocket League, so I need it to be fast. You know?
Wow.
Yeah, that's probably, you know, technically it sounds like you have a lot to offer. You know, there's our podcast could always use help. You know,
Oh, and you said you guys are moving it.
yeah, because Jamie moved. She was part of this LA exodus, so she went to Austin.
That's right.
Yeah, so I do the pod with Jamie.
So is that going to
Lynn
be? Do you
Sigler,
guys have
and
a?
Rob.
I was listening to a podcast of you guys, and it was the one where you kept reading the calls, the same question a bunch of times. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't,
Okay,
but it could have been any number of them.
You were trying to help, but you kept fucking up and reading. It
oh
was really
yeah,
funny.
yeah. I'm a terrible reader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but in that episode, you didn't know what the plan was for the podcast. It was kind of up in the air. Like,
Yeah.
Are you gonna still do it and Zoom her in? Are you gonna travel and bank a few in person? Like, what's the plan? Do you have a plan yet with your pod?
Yeah. So
That you can
we lost.
share?
So we lost the studio, and people that watch Tiger Belly know George Kimmel. He's the producer of that pod.
He produces your pod as well.
Well, I wouldn't say he
Sure.
produces it, but his partner, his company, because I know them from YouTube back in the day, and so technically, yes, George is he's probably more of an executive producer if there's such a
Gotcha.
thing.
Yeah.
But they no longer have their studio, and I think
Oh, I
they're
didn't know
trying
they lost
to. I think they just let it go because it financially made more sense. So, Rob, who's deathly allergic to dogs, has to come over to my house where I have a dog.
What kind of dog?
I have a husky.
Oh, I love huskies.
And
Beautiful.
so there's also the furriest. They have the most.
Yeah, they're dogs.
And Rob doesn't have just like kind of an allergy. He swells up at like the smallest hint
What
of
a
a
pussy.
Yeah, it's, just weak. Like get rid of him, nature.
Yeah, he should
This guy should not breathe.
move somewhere else. America, we like dogs.
So as we speak now, I have an air purifier on max in my office. And
Has that worked?
yeah, well, it worked last week, and so I also have to do like a deep Dyson vacuum clean
Right.
before he comes in, and I also have to make sure my dog has been out of the house for at least a few hours.
Gotcha.
He's been gone a couple days, kind of anticipation. So the version of our podcast for now is me and Rob in my office together, and Jamie, who I got set up with some like a nice mirrorless camera and taught her how
She
to use
remotes in.
OBS, and she remotes in.
And then sends
but
the
we
files.
use Zoom, and then so
she films herself.
she'll
sends you the
record her
files.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is not as nice as this, but like we've put so much sweat equity into the pod, it would just be such a shame to like stop doing it. And you know, who knows? She may have a pilot picked up. She's currently waiting to hear on, so she may come to LA to shoot that anyways. And so there will be a way for us to kind of figure it out. But
Cool.
yeah,
Well, it sounds like you guys are gonna figure it out, whatever that is.
we want to. I think that's the important part. Yeah.
And do you say you love each other at the end of each podcast, or when you get off the phone with Jamie, do you say "I love you"?
We do say that a lot, more than I'm probably used to with people. She's a very loving.
I was watching an episode and I didn't know enough about you guys because I don't listen to a podcast regularly. I don't, even though it's great, I just don't. But she was like picking stuff off your shirt, putting her head on your shoulder. I was like, they love each other.
So sweet.
Yeah.
We spent all pandemic, we'd go to her house every Sunday and we would watch either football or whatever. We'd barbecue every night or every Sunday night and then play with her kids. And like, it was we had a pod together, like the quarantine pod, you know? And so that was our only socialization was with each other. She's just they're both, Rob is, he's got this like angry streak in him, but he's also the most genuine, one of the most thoughtful people I know. And then Jamie's just so sweet and giving and they're just so, they've been celebrities for so long that they've just become normal people.
That's great.
They're not affected. There's like certain things, and they also have money too. So it's like they just have everything that a celebrity would have access to without like the ego around it.
That's the best kind. That's the best kind of celebrity.
I'm waiting for them to like, show a little bit of their diva, but it hasn't really come up. Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing my podcast.
Thanks
it's
for
great
having
getting
me.
to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
Big fan. Check out your podcast, which is called the Pajama Party.
Pajama Pants.
The Pajama
We should have
Pants.
went with Pajama Party now that you mention it.
They're both good. Pajama Pants. Some people don't like. I don't like to party.
Yeah.
Parties, if
I'd
count
rather
me
just
out.
sit around in pants.
Yeah, I'd
for
rather
sure.
sit around in pants.
Yeah, thanks so much, man.
Thanks for doing it. See ya.
You're listening to
Unlicensed
Unlicensed Therapy with Ari Mannis.
All right. You made it to the end of the podcast. Almost an hour and a half. Over an hour and 20 minutes of interview. And it was good. Talked about a lot, learned a lot about one another. Nice guy, huh? Chill guy. Cool guy. So kind. I don't know. I didn't know him. I literally DM'd him on Instagram because I was a fan. He came on. We met. He was tight. Big fan. Anyways, thank you guys for listening again. If you haven't already, leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Comment down below on the YouTube and hit subscribe there. Hey, join the channel if you want to be supportive. Go on arimannis.com, buy my book or a t-shirt. There's so many ways you could help me. Follow me on Instagram. Follow the guests. DM the guests. Tell them how much you like them on the podcast. Who knows? Spread the word. Do your part. Make my dreams come true. Hey, thank you guys. We'll see you next week.